India is an adventurous paradise. You head out for a holiday, which quickly turns into a survival situation. A dream turns into a nightmare.
I'm thirsty, I'm tired, I'm hungry, and I'm lost.
Shelter, water, and food become a priority. A fire to keep you warm. But how? I'm Chandan Lahiri from OTS Survival School. I'll give you some tips and show you some tricks to use in a self-reliant situation. Do not think problems can only happen to other people. It can happen to you. I'm heading out for a trek for about 7-8 days out into the mountains. And one thing that I need as part of my trek equipment is a first aid kit. And there are 3 packs that you need to carry. One is a day pack, one is a survival kit, and the third, which hopefully I'll never have to open, is my first aid kit. And this is pretty much the contents of my first aid kit. And this changes a little bit depending on whether I'm back home in the city or I'm heading out into the wilderness. So much of this I'm going to be taking out and adding a few things which are specific to the wilderness. For instance, water purification tablets. I'm going to be carrying that as part of my kit. There's a bunch of things in here, and I'll quickly run through some of them. There are a bunch of tablets for various things: aches, pains, fevers, headaches, nausea, diarrhea. Hopefully I don't have that. So there are a bunch of medicines. There's a whole bunch of ointments that I carry, which is antifungal creams. If I have a problem, I've got a Neosporin, I've got Bernol if I get into a burn. I've got a bunch of ointments. There will be cuts and bruises. So what I have is a disinfected solution. I can also make disinfected solution with potassium permanganate, so I have that. I can also use this to purify water. This is not the pack that the potassium permanganate comes in, but I just put it in this because it's a nice sturdy pack. Walking on terrain which is difficult, you've got potholes, you've got boulders, you've got rocks, you're going through water, your feet are all squishy, you will get blisters. Blisters is not whether you will get blisters or not. Blisters is a fact that it will happen out in the wilderness. So there's a whole bunch of Band-Aids in various shapes and sizes. That's something which is always with me. I hope I don't sprain an ankle, but if I do, I've got some crib bandage. I've got a pain spray. I've got glycerine. Now glycerine has got a couple of uses. One is if I've got a rumbly stomach, I can take a spoonful of that. It'll quieten down the stomach. And I can make fire with this. I've got water. I've got a bunch of other things. Disinfected solution. This is tincture of iodine. Again, I can put it into wounds to disinfect the wound. I've got mercurochrome, again for wounds, open wounds if it's bleeding. If there's a lot of bleeding that I expect, I've got cotton balls, I've got gauze strips, I've got smaller gauze strips, I've got a face mask, just in case I'm traveling with somebody. I hope I don't transmit diseases, so I have a face mask. And if you're dealing with open wounds, it's always good to carry surgical gloves, latex gloves. If you're dealing with open wounds and your hands are contaminated, you don't have time to clean it, just carry latex gloves and wear them. If you're in a hot climate, whether it be in the mountains or in the desert, mountains can be as hot as the desert in the daytime. So you will be losing a lot of body fluids, body salts. So carry a bunch of ORS packets, oral rehydration salts. That comes in useful. I've got some cotton swabs which are antiseptic. And like blisters, you might get corns. So I've got corn caps. And all these things are part of my first aid kit. And with this, I'm pretty confident of spending that week, 10 days that I plan to be out. And these are also the things that remain back in the city with me at home in a first aid kit. And it's easily available. Everybody knows where it is. So dump all this into something like this, into a Ziploc bag, so that it is protected from the elements and you're good to go. Don't leave home without a first aid kit. Problems, health-wise, they can happen to you. Learn to adapt, improvise, innovate, and overcome. To learn more tips and tricks, visit this site. I'm Chandan Lahiri, and I hope to see you soon at the OTS Survival School. Leave nothing but footprints. Bring back nothing but memories.